Hey guys, it's rpvarela with something I said I was gonna do, a Fall Guys tier list. It's something I wanted to do for a good while. I do enjoy the idea of tier lists of, I don't know, making stuff or like rating stuff like this and seeing the people's process of, the thought process on when deciding those things. So I decided to try my own tier list here. And now, before we start, I'm just gonna add a few little caveats. So the basis for this is gonna be how fun I think the game is. I'm gonna try to make my points, and hopefully you guys can understand what I mean. I'm sorry for the ads. Whether I should have some ad block for this, but I don't. Secondly, I'm gonna be judging the games based on their default version. If there's a variant, I might mention something or just put a note there, but I'm ultimately going for the default versions. And finally, for the team games, I'm not gonna assume a horrible team or a completely proficient team that carries you. I'm gonna consider the team's average, so let's see how it goes. So we start out with Block Party. And Block Party, okay, I find Block Party very similar to Rollout. I guess you guys can understand why. I mean, they are both elimination games, and they involve staying on some platform and avoiding falling off. And I think they are very similar, but there are things I like and dislike about both of them. I like that Block Party has the potential to eliminate more people, but at the same time I dislike when it doesn't do that. And at the same time I do enjoy the fact that it has a fixed time, when sometimes rollout can take a while and you're like, get over it, get it over with already, I'm getting tired of this. So yeah, but when it comes to these kinds of games, I still don't like them as much as I like the obstacle courses overall, but I do like them a lot more than some minigames. You guys will see what I mean. But yeah, I think Block Party belongs in B tier as a pretty good game. It's fun to have. I haven't seen it in a good while actually. But yeah, I feel like it belongs in B tier. Now Gate Crash. Gate Crash is one of those starter obstacle courses. I feel like it's one of the better ones. One of the better obstacle courses out there. Would I say it's so why do I enjoy it so much? It's like it's very much skill based. I mean timing. I think timing is a skill, and there's very little luck involved. The most you will see luck wise is your starting position, and that's pretty much it, which makes me very enjoyable to play in my opinion. Makes it very good. I feel like it's one of the better ones, like I said, but I don't think it quite belongs in S tier. So I think we put this in A. Pretty good game. Belongs in A tier. DoorDash. In my opinion, if you watch my Fall Guys videos, you have heard me say this before. I find DoorDash to be the weakest starting course, easily. Like I don't. It's not even debatable. Why? It's the most luck based of any obstacle course by far. It's completely luck based. There is no skill involved in jumping into a door to see if it's fake or not. I will say it gets a bit more enjoyable if Big Eaters is present, but I'm not judging the variant. So yeah, I say DoorDash belongs in B tier, and I even go ahead as to say Block Party is a bit better. I don't enjoy it very much. Now Egg Scramble. Egg Scramble is a game that I enjoyed. I was indifferent to, actually not enjoyed when I first started playing, but I've been disliking it the more I play. So what are my issues with it? First of all, it's very easy to just bully a team. It's very easy to determine the winner of the game or actually the loser of the game within the first 15 seconds or so, depending on population. It can be very easy to defend against an enemy team. Like if your team is really focused on defense after building an advantage, it's very hard to dislodge this advantage from them. And yeah, there are a few problems. I mean, the golden eggs can kind of spice it up a bit, but I don't think it's enough. Well, my main concern is that it can very easily just bully a team and make them lose, and that's it. I would say it's pretty bad, but it's not quite F tier to me, so I would place it in D. It's a weaker game for sure. Now, when I started playing, Fall Ball was one of the games I liked the least, but then I learned how to play it, and it became way more fun. I feel like Fall Ball is one of the better team games. Is it to the level of stuff like Gate Crash, Obstacle Courses, or maybe some finales? No, definitely not. So, what do I like about it? There is strategy. You can play a goalie, you can play attack, you can switch roles very easily, you can make some crazy plays and get the ball over the entire team and maybe into the goal. And this is a game where I feel like pretty much every variant makes things more fun. More fun, like, or at least more different. Not necessarily better, but it does spice things up a bit, makes it more enjoyable to see different things, more variable. I wish it would show up more actually. Like a lot of the times you have an even number of players and you get a 3-team game and it's a bit disappointing. But yeah, I do enjoy Fall Ball quite a lot. I would say it's bottom of A tier or top of B tier. I'm undecided on this. For now, let's put it in B tier. Now, fall mounting. I know this is probably gonna sound controversial. I do like fall mounting quite a bit. And I know it's very luck based. It's probably the most luck based finale the game has for now. So, do I think it's one of the better ones? No, definitely not. And what I do like is that most of the time, if you can get a clean getaway to the top, you will have a chance. I do like the variants with more the donut poles, the hammers by the end. It's pretty nice. It's kind of changes things up a bit. I never really saw the value in the big eaters. I mean, I know you can get to the top very quickly if you manage to pull it off, but I don't think it's a very smart idea. It is probably the most exciting finale to win when you do win it. The act of actually jumping for a crown and grabbing it and managing to pull it off feels very exciting when you can do it. Uh, when you do manage to navigate the maze of cannonballs and gates and diamonds, it feels amazing. By barely dodging a ball or something like that, it feels really good. And at the same time, it can feel really frustrating when you are almost there and you get hit by a ball out of nowhere and you just, well, that's the end of me. I lost here. But yeah, it's a game that I would put it in B tier for sure. Actually, close to the top of B tier. I would prefer Fall Ball over Fall Mountain. I will say though, if it's a low population Fall Mountain, it's way more enjoyable. Like Fall Mountain, in my opinion, should cap at 5. Cap at 5 people. 5 people is the ideal amount. 10, I can still stomach anything more than that, and I would put it in C tier. But with a low population, with ideal conditions, it has the potential to be a B. Slime Climb. Slime Climb is the ever climbing mountain. It's a zigzagging upward course to the end of the finish line. It has variants. They do change things up a bit, but not quite enough to make it stand out as superior or inferior to the base version. They are pretty much all the same. The logs, instead of the ball cannon, doesn't change a whole lot. The final stretch with the pendulums, the hammers or the donut blocks, they don't change way too much. It's pretty much the same course. There is a lot of room for shortcuts. There is a lot of room for jumping and skipping small search sessions of the level. There is room for foul play to push people off if you're into that. There is it demands skill, it demands timing, it demands positioning, especially at the beginning if you don't want to be trampled by the herd. There are options here. There are many different ways to approach a slime climb. So, and for that reason, I still think it's the best course in the entire game. Top of S tier, uncontested. Fruit Shoot. Fruit Shoot is an obstacle course that I'm not a big fan of. I mean, it's better than a lot of the games, but as far as obstacle courses go, it's one of the weaker ones. It's sometimes it will be determined in the first 10 seconds of the match because you got a proper jump off of the platform and managed to dive over all the fruit, and then you get a clean line, and you can for the most part stay safe if you're good at dodging the fruit. And sometimes you will just get hit by an unlucky shot and fall over the course by on the back of the treadmill, and you have to start all over, and you're probably not gonna make it. Of course, there is always a chance. I would say on the first half of the course, you still have a chance. The moment people start making it to the second half, it's pretty much over for you if you're not there. Because the closer you are to the front, the less likely you are to be hit. So it kinda helps those that are ahead, which is of course good. If you're making a racing course, of course you want to promote that. But I feel like there's very little in the way of giving people a chance. I mean, and yeah, I will say, when I'm in front, of course I don't want people to have a chance. I want to win. But a lot of the times it does feel cheap when you get hit by a fruit that bounces a weird way off and hits you unexpectedly. Not my favorite obstacle course. I would put it in B tier. I would still play it. Nah, I wouldn't play it over Block Party. And over DoorDash. I would have taken DoorDash over it. DoorDash may be one of the worst, maybe the worst starting course, but it's not the worst obstacle course. Now, Hit Parade. Hit Parade is a little boring. I would say it's a little boring. Like, it's perfectly fine. It's not too exciting. It's not too hard. I do like the default version where you just push or leash off of the pushers and get ahead. Getting hit by the pendulums can be a death sentence if you're like if the guys are on top of their game. You gotta go back and up and around the ramp and climb again. The final climb, the variants change it quite a bit. I dislike the whirly variant a lot. It's annoying. The vertical pendulums make it way too easy. I don't like it. I mean, I think it's too easy. I mean, it's good that you won't get hit, but it kind of feels lame. And the final stretch with the hammers make it even easier. The most challenge you will face in the final stretch is other people bumping into you and sending you into a donut pusher or a hammer. That said, I still prefer it over a lot of the courses, so I would say A tier. And these are all subject to change. As I put them here, I'm gonna be looking at them side by side and thinking, yeah, this is wrong. I'm gonna have to fix this. Hexagon. Hexagon is one of the best games, period, I think. It's probably one of the most tactical games Fall Guys has to offer. When you start out, you can immediately consider your position, like, do I jump to other hexes or do I just drop down immediately? Once you're down on the big grid, do I run around destroying as many tiles or do I hop slowly? Because I got an island to myself and I don't really need to cut people off or destroy tiles for those above me. Do I have somewhere to land below me after I'm done with this layer I got to myself? Do I have someone coming for me so I have to plan ahead and find a new path to another hex and a hex island and avoid them? Can I outlast the person above me or below me? There are lots of things to consider, and you have to make those decisions in split seconds. You gotta be on top of your game at all times. The main problem I have with it and it's a very minor problem, is the tendency it has to eat jump inputs if you fall into between two hexes. It can be very frustrating. But pretty much every game that has adjacent tiles will have that problem. I would say Hexagon deserves a spot as an S tier finale, easily. Very fun game, very exciting game to play. One of the better finals for sure. Now Hoarders. Hoarders is the triple team game of getting all the balls into your corner and starving the other teams for it. The way you win it is by starving a team as much as you can. There are 7 balls in the field. You want to have 4 at least. It's ideal. The variants don't do a whole lot to me. I mean, are there variants? I'm even confused, I think. And I would say easily the worst game of the bunch. I would take any game on this entire list over Hoarders. Any game. By far. It's not even debatable. Hoarders is just not fun. It never feels like you're actively contributing to your team. Hoarders, well, I would say Hoarders has 3 feelings that it will leave you with. A, the feeling of completely helplessness that as you lose and you're like, well, what could I have done then? The feeling that you did your best and it still didn't matter, either because you just got second place because it was already there, or because you ended up losing anyway, or the feeling of, yeah, I made it, but I don't feel like it was skill, it was pure luck. I don't feel like I did much. I don't feel like I actively contributed to this. Now Hoopsie Daisy, as far as team games go, I used to hate Hoopsie Daisy because it's pretty much settled as soon as someone gains I would say a 5 ring advantage. It's very hard to come back from that. It's kind of set in stone afterwards. You gotta plan ahead, you gotta be on top of your game. But that said, I think I have gotten better at it. I would take it over Egg Scramble nowadays. I would never say this when I started out. And it has a big advantage over the egg games and the ball hoarding games because you can't bully a team. You can't really bully a team. You only get your rings, and at most you take a ring from the other team by starving them. The golden rings annoy me a bit in this one. I feel like it shouldn't have any. The strategy, I mean, no, never. I'm being silly. You should have golden rings, but it's very frustrating that you can never know when or where a ring will drop. I mean, they have fixed locations, but you never know when they will activate. That said, it's better than Egg Scramble, so perfectly fine C tier. When you do get a lot of momentum going, you're on a streak, it feels good. When you're not getting rings, it feels annoying. Like when you are camping a location, the rings are just not dropping. I'm wasting time here. I'm not enjoying this. Jinxed. I know a lot of people hate Jinxed, and it feels like a coin toss. I can sympathize. But I do like the dynamic of the game. Let me just drink a bit of water here. It's a game that no matter who you are, as in a Jinx player or a running player, fleeing player, it will get harder no matter what happens as time progresses. If you're not Jinxed, you will have to deal with more and more enemy team members getting Jinxed, and it's gonna become way harder for you to evade them. If you are Jinxed, you will find less and less players you can grab to Jinx, and it's gonna become harder and harder to find that final player and Jinx them. Main concern here, as a main complaint I guess, it's laggy enemies when you grab them, especially on the spinny platforms. When you grab them, it just doesn't register, and you're like, come on, I did grab this guy like 3 times, why is it not Jinxed? Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. I would place it in C tier, definitely below Hoopsie Daisy. It makes me think though, Fall Ball and Jinx are the only 2 team games, right? There should be a more 2 team games. I feel like they're usually the more fairer ones, I guess I should have said. of those games. Now, Jump Club. Jump Club is one of my favorite games to show up in slot 3 or 4 when I'm playing. Very fun, ends very quickly, eliminates a lot of people. I put it in the same category as Block Party and Rollout, but I think it's better than both of them. I would place it in A tier. Yeah, it's better than Hit Parade, definitely. There it is. I don't have much to say. It's very Mario Party-like, very fun to play. I think I feel like I got worse at it as time went on, but I'm slowly climbing back up. Now, Jump Showdown. Jump Showdown is Jump Club on steroids. The floor collapses, and it gives you a bunch of opportunities to be tactical about it. Do I go for this one? Do I go for the other one? Do I stay where I am? Do I share this little island with a lot of people? Do I go for a potentially risky play of going to another one? Do I risk going to a lone tile that might fall off? So you have things to consider. And it's a game that actually gets easier as it speeds up, I think, because there's a lot less overlap of the two beams. That's, I think, still, even though I've been failing it a lot lately, like a lot, and it's mostly dumb mistakes, I still think it's my favorite finale of the bunch. Nice game. Perfect Match. Perfect Match has a lot of Block Party energy, in my opinion, that it's very inconsistent in how many people it eliminates, which is annoying. But most of all, I mean, it's a perfectly fine game. I completely don't mind it. Basically, it's fine. It's fine. So since it's a perfectly true neutral game, I feel like it belongs in C tier. And why is it? And just to be clear, I don't think it's better than Hoopsie Daisy and Jigsaw. I don't think it's a good game for this. It's just that for this one I'm completely indifferent. For this one I'm a little annoyed, basically, to get those. I'm a little annoyed. And yeah, I mean, as far as strategies go, you can like bait people, you can push people off. This makes it a bit exciting, just a tiny bit exciting. Not very much. I would say this what I consider a perfectly neutral game. It's the Futurama video of the neutral guy. I have no strong feelings one way or the other. Rock and Roll. Rock and Roll, like I said before, many times is my favorite team game. So, do I have problems with it? Definitely. Blue team has a distinct disadvantage, being bullied by both sides easily. And the game is much more fun in the first half, until your ball drops in the common area and then people start bullying you out of the game. I feel like the strategy of pushing the ball up the hill is too effective. If you have like 3 people on your ball, it's very hard to come out of that. If you have even more people, it's even harder. I really don't enjoy the second bit with people pushing it and sabotaging you a lot. I would say it belongs right next to Fall Ball as the better team games, easily. But I would like more of the cooperative parts instead of the competitive part of it, when it becomes a mess on the bottom part. Rollout. So Rollout, like I said, a lot like Block Party. I do appreciate the consistency in eliminating players. Like I would take it over Block Party, because when you get a lot of people eliminated in Block Party, it feels nice, but most of the time you don't. It feels like, oh man, I could have gotten rid of a lot more people if just they failed there in a bunch. Rollout has a bunch of strategies you can try. You can jump over gaps. You can switch from ring to ring. You can run on top of a ring. You can push people off. You can bait people. It's pretty nice. But more so, it allows players more lenience in applying those strategies, especially the grabbing ones. For that reason, I think it's superior to Block Party. The consistency it gives you and the leniency it gives you. Dizzy Heights. I think Dizzy Heights is a lot like Hit Parade. Very similar to Hit Parade. The variants, I'm not too crazy about them. The one where the floor is absent, the final platforms are absent, it's kind of interesting. It has one of the most satisfying big eaters of the game. I think it is better than Hit Parade, but not by much. Oops. Okay, there it is. But not by very much. They are very close together, but this one is a little more fun. But not by much. Now, Royal Fumble. Royal Fumble is a game that doesn't exist anymore. I have gotten to level 40 in Season 1, and I have gotten to level 40 in Season 2, and I have played exactly three Royal Fumbles. Lost all of them. It's to this day the only game I have never won in. And what can I say about it? It's a tail game. That alone makes it annoying. I would say, as far as team, one thing I really appreciate. I mean, let's talk about the good stuff first. I do enjoy the arena a lot. It's a very fun arena to play in. And I do appreciate the very low population it gives. It caps at 6, if I'm not mistaken. And that said, I feel like it's easily the best tail game. That said, being the best tail game doesn't say much. I would place it over Egg Scramble. Not that this is amazing, but I would play it over Egg Scramble. It's a bit better than Egg Scramble. Seesaw. Seesaw is a boring, one of the worst starting courses, I would say. It's basically, it's very position dependent. If you're right in front, you can tilt the seesaw almost nothing and just have a smooth sailing to the end, which is very boring. You just run, jump, run, jump, run, jump until you reach the end. When you're in the back, there is some degree of strategy. You can hop from one seesaw to the next one, I mean side by side, and then in hopes to move to the one ahead of you. You can purposely jump on the seesaw to make it tilt further. Like you hop on it so the people that are standing on it tilt it more, so you can jump off and screw them over, and they will never catch up, not easily at least. But then it's a very boring course, and one that you can fail a lot and still wait a lot in the final screen. People are getting better at it. It's not as common, but still one that you have to wait a lot. That said, it's still a bit better than DoorDash. So there. Tail Tag. Tail Tag is a horrible game. I hate every second of Tail Tag. It's basically, the main problem is, like most people point out, the first 1 minute and a half don't matter. I do play them because I prefer to have a tail when the final stretch is coming. And I know there are strategies you can employ. You can run on the bottom part here, you can hop across the little platforms, you can run in the outer edge, you can climb the ramps, you can purposely eat yourself away. I think it's the worst of the tail games, which is really bad. I would go as far as say it's F tier, but not as bad as Hoarders. It's a pretty bad game. I hate every second of it. And now I'm gonna go on a little tirade here because I feel like there is a way that it would make this game more fun and make the seconds matter. So my idea, I'm no game designer. Don't take this like gospel. Don't think I'm professional or what I'm saying. But here's the thing. Imagine a 10-person tail tag. The game starts, one person has a tail, just one person has a tail, like in Royal Fumble. For the next 20 seconds, everyone tries to get the tail. Once the 20 seconds are up, that one person with a tail qualifies and is removed from the match. Now there are 9 players. A new tail spawns on one of the players. 20 seconds countdown, one player qualifies. Now there are 8 players, and then this process is repeated until there are 6 players, and when the 6th player qualifies, the other half gets eliminated. This would make the game always exciting to play, instead of just 1 minute and a half of whatever and then let's try hard in the last 30 seconds. There would always be a reason to try something. I don't know if it would be as fun, but I would give at least a test. I'm no game designer again. This is just me spitballing and just throwing pure conjecture of what would I consider to be something I would be willing to try. And for all I know, I could try and say this sucks. But yeah, that's my take on tail tag. Team tail tag, I do think it's better. And this is gonna sound weird, but it's a team game. Why do you think it's better? For one, I like the arena way more fun than tail tag. I think it's much more mobility. I like the treadmills. I like the slime hills on the middle. There's a lot of place to run around, jump around. This is way more fun than this. And when you have a team that knows what they're doing, you can focus on not losing. Like, you can keep your eye on the team counter and see, oh, I see that green team only has 2 tails. So as someone with a tail, I can avoid green members because they will likely not have a tail and grab me. So I'll stick closer to the red team, because they have 7 tails and they're pretty well for themselves. I'm just gonna keep around them. And the same applies to you if you don't have a tail. So, I'm gonna go after green team if I find one of them with a tail, because I'm gonna put them closer to the losing point. Or I'm gonna chase red because I know they are very likely to be tailed, having a tail. So I can easily take one if I find a red team member. They are likely to have a tail. So there is a bit of strategy in this sense. And the most important thing that Team Tail Tag does for you is, if you win, if you don't lose, you simultaneously eliminate a team game and a tail game for the next round, and that's huge. I would put it here on bottom D tier. Tiptoe. Tiptoe is probably my least favorite semifinal game currently in the build. It's very luck based. It's like it rewards cowardice. You're very rewarded if you stay back and just go after people fall off and reveal the right path. It's very easy to just fall off for no reason, even though you're grabbing someone not to fall off. You're suddenly bumped into hell and fall off the cliff for some reason. And yeah, I think it's very similar to Fruit Shoot, both because they appear together a lot, but because they are pretty similar in that they are they're obstacle courses, race courses that can be very luck based, determined by luck. That said, Tiptoe is more luck based than Fruit Shoot, so it loses a spot. But they are very close together. Don't think that Fruit Shoot is way better. It's not. Actually, now that I think about it, like I said, using the principle of a little annoyed, I would say these two belong here, actually. Because they make me a little annoyed, and Perfect Match just makes me okay. They make me a little annoyed. I will still take them over Hoopsie Daisy and Jinx, don't get me wrong. The Whirligig. The Whirligig was the most fun starting course by far. By far. But it lost that position recently. You know why. I do enjoy the entirety of the course. I like that you can launch yourself in the first sessions. I like that you can time it right and clear the jump without grabbing the ledge or hopping on the little platform, the stepping platform, just to climb to the next session. I like the big middle windmill where you can dive across and skip a huge portion of the course. Very fun overall. It's fun to watch people fail at it when you win. Very fun, good fun all around. I would say S tier, bottom of S tier. Actually, no, top of A tier, because it got dethroned. Egg Siege, this is a typo. Egg Siege was a disappointment. But the most disappointing thing Season 2 has brought us. They had the opportunity to make an egg game that could have been 2 teams, 4 teams, spice it up a bit, change it up a little bit. They just give a new map. Just give us a new map. And it's pretty much the same as Egg Scramble, except the map is cumbersome. It's too large. It's too clunky to navigate with the drawbridges opening all the time with the axes spinning around. It made the defense strategy even more overpowered than it already was. It amplified the problems Egg Scramble had. Despite all that, it's not worse than Egg Scramble by much. It is worse, but not by much. My main disappointment here is that it could have been different, could have been a 4-team game, a 2-team game. Just spice it up a bit. Why make it exactly the same thing on a different map, on a worse map? Now, Hoopsie Legends is a hero game, easily a hero game. Why? It rescued the semifinals from the clutches of Fruit Shoot and Tiptoe every single time. This here makes it way more fun. When you get one of those at round 4 or even round 3, 4, or 5, you're a happy man. And the game completely changes based on populations. If you have a high population, you can go for the white rings, no problem. If you have a low population, you better hope you can get a golden one. I do like that there are strategies. You can risk it, even though I'd never do it, you can risk the corner areas for a golden ring. You can go for the center area, try to get the hoopsies as they drop down, the hoops. You can stick to the platforms on the corners, those here, I don't know if you guys can see. There are strategies to employ. Very fun game, very exciting game, pretty tense. But yeah, it's a very fun game. I would place it on top of this. I would place it here, actually, more than Jump Club. I would place it here. Incredibly fun game. Night Fever dethroned Whirligig. Everything I said about Whirligig applies here, except it's S tier. Timing is a timing game, completely based on timing. Other people can screw you over, of course, but for the most time you're gonna be just fine if you time it right. If you fun, there are strategies to employ. You can dash down the slime hill. You can take your time. You can wait for a clear line on the candy corn area. You can just time it right. You can run across and get it. You can hop from drawbridge to drawbridge. There are things to do here. I like it a lot. Wall Guys is one of the better surprises this game has. Again, another hero game, rescued the semifinals from the clutches of Fruit Shoot and Tiptoe. I used to not get it, but once you do understand that it's more like the floor is lava and less like pushing blocks and helping people, it gets way more fun. Like the parkour you get here, it feels amazing when it works. Sometimes you will get a whiff grab and it will suck, but when it does work, man. It's very fun. I would say it's one of the most fun games. There are strategies, like you can wait for the walls to come down slowly and jump across. You can wait on top of a block and wait for people to get fed up and push you. You can push a block away to sabotage the attempt. You can change your strategy on the go and go for another pile of blocks that no one is noticing. You can parkour your way across and get in first place very easily, no contest. Lots of things you can do. I would say it deserves a spot right in the A tier. So yeah, that's my tier list for Fall Guys. If you guys disagree, comment below. Say what you think. Say what your favorite is. Why do you disagree? If I'm rpvarela, if you guys like my comment, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with a different thing. Well, probably a game, not a tier list. Bye!